Hello everybody, I am back. Thank the good Lord. OMG. I do not want to go on another long trip. To be honest, for forever. Oh, I can't do it anymore. This was one very hectic, tiresome, hot, stressful trip. OMG. So we're back home now. Thank God, safe and sound. Oh. Okay. We left Houston. And you know, Elizabeth had to work. So me and Albert left first. And when Elizabeth got off work, her and Katie came behind us. So we didn't go the whole way that day. We stopped somewhere and got a room, and now I don't even remember. We had to wait. Me and Albert, of course, got there first. And we had to wait for Elizabeth and them to come up. But, you know, we got a room that had 2 queen-size beds in it. So me and Albert had one. Elizabeth, Gracie, and Katie had the other one. So they finally got there, and we slept that night. Don't even remember what all we done. Albert's air in his truck is still not working right. He has had that thing worked on, and they never get it fixed. Same with Elizabeth's. And now my car, I mean, it's working so far, but sometimes when you crank it up and cut the air on, it don't start blowing, and you have to hit the top of the dash to make it start blowing. Pray for my air in my car. I cannot deal with a airless car. Hairless car? Airless car. It's too hot. And I don't like hot weather. I sweat. And I'm sticky. And I'm miserable. And I hate it. Okay. Okay. The next morning, which was Wednesday morning, we got up and we didn't have but like a couple of hours more to go. So we went on into Kingsport. So Albert was calling. Okay. The reason we were going up there, this is going to be a long video, I'm sorry. I told y'all the reason we was going up there to a funeral of a good friend. Alright, when we lived there, the church we went to, this family went to the church. They still do. It's David and Robin, and their last name is Isley. That is spelled I-S-L-E-Y, Isley. Took me a little bit to get used to that name and how to pronounce it, but I finally got it. So anyway, it's David and Robin. That's the mom and dad, and they are our age. Okay, they had 2 sons. We had 2 daughters. Okay, and their 2 sons was kind of close to our, well, actually, I'll take that back. Hunter was their oldest one. He's the one that got killed on the motorcycle wreck, and we was going for his funeral. I was putting him around Katie's age. What's his problem? Katie is my baby. She's the mom of Gracie, right? Elizabeth is my oldest one. Elizabeth is 29 now, I think. Yeah, 29. Katie's 26. I was putting Hunter, her oldest one, Robin's oldest one, around Katie's age. A year behind her or her age. So 25 or 26. I was wrong. He was only 22. Oh, dear Lord, he was only 22. Okay, so, and then their baby son is Holden. Okay, but he's like, right now he's 19. Yeah, and Hunter was 26. Okay, so 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Hunter was 7 years older than him, where Elizabeth is only 3 years older than Katie. Alright. So we got real close to them. We would go to their house and eat. They would come to our house and eat. We played games. We went places together and stuff like that. So, and Robin went with me and Elizabeth and Katie to look for Katie's wedding dress, you know, and all of that back when she was getting married. So, we've become real close. My camera is dimming its light. So we got close friends. So we wanted to go to his funeral now, and it's so sad. You know, he had a motorcycle. His dad, when he first got the motorcycle, him and his dad got in an argument. His dad didn't want him to have the motorcycle. Oh, bless their hearts. And so he fussed at Hunter, and they kind of got into it, and he even told Hunter, you know, if you get that, you're not allowed to stay in this house with us anymore, and blah, 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 you know, that sort of thing. So sad. Finally, David came around, and Hunter was living with him, but he had the motorcycle. And so anyway, then he would go fast on the motorcycle, and David was always telling him, son, slow down, you're going too fast, don't do that. Be careful, please. Anyway, so he was topping a hill too fast, and there was an 18-wheeler. I understand it was parked in the road, on the side of the road, something, but it was in his way, and he didn't have time to stop, and he went under it. And they said he died on impact. And the cops went to their door, you know, and knocked on their door and told them. Well, then Robin, her mom and dad, also goes to that church. We also got close to them. You know, they're older, of course, but we still, you know, in hanging with Robin and them, we'd hang with them. They came to our house. We went to their house. All that. So it's Sister Marguerite and Brother Pete. Bailey is their last name. And that's Robin's mom and dad. And so David and Robin went over there and told them. They live, you know, live in the same town. Anyway, went to their house and told them, and then they had to go to the hospital. They had him hooked up on life machines for a long time, and they had to do an autopsy to figure all that out. Anyway, it took a long time. And that happened Wednesday of last week, and they didn't have his funeral until Wednesday of this week. So a whole week went by before they could have his funeral. Alright, so we got there Wednesday. So the reason I was telling y'all that, how well we knew the people. Robin's mom and dad, Brother Pete and Sister Marguerite, is who we stayed with. Now, Sister Marguerite's mama, which is done gone, she passed while we lived there. I actually remember doing a video. I was at Tookie and M's house keeping them, and it was the older house, not the newest one that they had gotten when we left there. They got a different house even now. They actually bought a house, and it's a big brick house, and it's fine and nice. Anyway, okay. I'm trying to hurry this up, not make it so long now. I'm going to lose concentration here. I was at their old house. It was the one that had the upstairs and the little park right across that I would take the boys out to play on. Okay. I had did a video. No, it wasn't. I am totally wrong. I'm so sorry. It was their new house I did it in. I remember now. I was sitting at the table in that middle room that was the dining room between living room and kitchen. The new house. Sorry. See, why do I have to go through all this? No point in it. Just tell the story, Sherry. I did a video telling about that, and I showed her little funeral pamphlet. It had her picture on it. So, she was a little old lady, and her name was Cecile, Sister Cecile. I forget her last name. It was always hard for me to tell what she was saying because of her kind of accent. I think it was like the British type thing or something. I can't remember now. It's been so long. But anyway, she passed while we lived there. We went to her funeral. I showed y'all that pamphlet on video. The point of me telling y'all that, her house that she had that she lived in, it's really Brother Pete's house, but they was letting her live in it. Or it became their house or something once she died, because it was Marguerite's mama. But they have, you know, emptied all personal stuff out of it and cleaned it out good. So they've only got the basics, like they have a dining room table and chairs. They have a couch and coffee table in the living room, and then another little table with 2 chairs, and that's it. No other type chairs in the living room. All right, they have their kitchen, refrigerator, all that. It's all, you know, the lights are on, air's on, all that works. They've then they have a den behind the living room on the other side. You can go around the kitchen back into the living room. The den had a couch and a chair in it, And that was all it had, except for the funeral part. They had a table against the back wall and then a table against the side wall lined up for the desserts. In the kitchen, they had all the other foods in the refrigerator and stuff, and bread and stuff on the table, and the plates and the cups, the paper stuff. And so anyway, then you go, because like when you walk in, it's the dining room. See, I don't have to do this, but I have to do this. It's my brain. Dining room, living room, you walk into the hall and you go this way, you walk into the hall and you go this way, into that den, and then you go through, it's like a little bitty hall with a pantry door type thing there. It's probably, back in the day, was called the butler's pantry. You walk through there into the kitchen, back out into the dining room, so you can go around in circles. So when you go out from the living room into the hall, where the den is back there, straight in front of you is the door, which is the bathroom. So it's a one bathroom house. You go to the back just a little ways, because on this side is one bedroom and that side is one bedroom. So it's only a 2-bedroom house. That was Sister Cecile's house. It's empty. Nobody lives there. It has the basic furniture in it. They used it for different types of things that you need a big house for a bunch of people. For instance, like this. So everybody had made food and brought it there. The refrigerator was packed with food, honey. You should have seen it. Macaroni and cheese, cream potatoes, corn, beans, come on, what is it? The chicken pieces and the steak and the pork chop and the meatloaf. That's what I was trying to think of. And all this kind of stuff. It was good. Barbecue, like beef, cut up meat to put in hamburger buns to eat sandwiches with. All that kind of stuff. So anyway, like I said, in the den, those tables had all the desserts, the brownies, the cakes, the pies. Okay. So, anyway, they wanted us, instead of getting a room, they said, you know, we paid the money. Oh, I gotta stop this video now. I'll be back. Okay, sorry people, I'm back. That was my husband calling. I hate when I have to interrupt a video. Now I gotta put it together. Oh well, anyway, where was I at? So, Brother Pete and Sister Marguerite and Robin and them, they were so thankful that we came for Hunter's funeral that they said, y'all paid money and came on this long trip, and it was a hard trip. You know, Albert's eye, the surgery and all that, and they knew about all that and was talking about that too. And they said, I don't want you to pay money to get any more motels or to buy food, you know, eating out and stuff like that. So they said, they told us about Sister Cecile's house empty. Nobody's staying there. They wanted us to stay there. And at their house, because at that house, Sister Cecile's house, only one of the bedrooms had a bed in it, which it had a dresser and a chest too. But the other room was storage, no bed in it. It had just a bunch of junk stored in there. So, they were saying that, you know, somebody could have that bed at that house, and then somebody could come stay in their guest room at their house. Brother Pete and Sister Marguerite. So that's what we done. So, it ended up, like I said, on the way there, and we almost got there. Albert had called Brother Pete and was talking to him, saying he was on there, and they said go there. So we went to Cecile's house. Alright, it was, ended up Elizabeth, Katie, and Gracie stayed at Cecile's house. Me and Albert went to Brother Pete and Marguerite's and stayed in their guest room. Okay, it was all nice. I was comfortable with both places. Now, when we got there, nobody was there, but the door was unlocked. They told us to go on in, so we did. And then it wasn't long, Robin and David drove up and came in, and she looked really bad, and not because of this, but since the last time I seen her, she's lost a lot of weight, which that's a good thing. But, you know, she was, you know, for the situation, look, you know, rough. So, anyway, and then Brother Pete and Sister Marguerite came over, and we just kind of, you know, talked and hung out for a little bit. And Gracie played, and they loved Gracie. Everybody loved Gracie, OMG. So anyway, and that was Wednesday. Well, that evening, we got there kind of early, see, since we didn't have it a couple-hour drive from the motel to there. Alright, and in Tennessee, they do funerals totally different from the way they do here around where we're at in the South, Louisiana, and Mississippi. So, Wednesday evening at 4:30 was the wake. And he was good. They had the cast open, so he looked good. He didn't look bad. He wasn't, like, messed up or nothing from the wreck. Okay. OMG. So they left because they had to go get ready for that. We stayed there. I ended up laying down and taking a nap. Elizabeth laid on the couch in the den and took a nap. Katie and Gracie stayed up, I think, in the living room. So then we got up, and they had plenty of food there. They told us to make ourselves at home, eat whatever we wanted. They was hoping we would eat a lot. They were saying, "Oh Lord, this is a lot of food. We'll never get rid of it. Please eat, 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 eat." So anyway, and I loved that meatloaf. I love meatloaf. Now I want to make some meatloaf. Anyway, so then, the way that went too, Albert had his trailer, so he had to. I rode with Elizabeth and Katie and come on in Wednesday to the house there. Albert had to take his truck and trailer to Larry's place, which is the person he gets the wood from. And he had 2 swings on the back of his trailer that he had built for Larry because Larry was selling them for him. So he left the trailer and the swings with Larry, and on our way home he went by there and got it filled up with wood and got the trailer, and we came home. But so he left it there, so he was behind us. So after I woke up from a nap, then he got home, he took a shower, we was all getting ready because it was at 4:30 the wake was. So we all go to the church where the wake is at. Oh my Lord. The wake was at 4:30. The funeral was supposed to be at 7 o'clock p.m. that night. Yes, nighttime. That's how Tennessee is. And then they wait till the next day before they bury them and have the graveyard service. If it happens to be on a weekend type thing, or sometimes 2 or 3 days has to pass before they can actually do between funeral and graveside service to bury them. That's how they do things there. So anyway, the funeral was supposed to start at 7. This guy, and I'm going to show you the pamphlet here in a minute. They have his picture on there too. There was so many people, so many families, so many friends coming. The line was outside, way, blocks down the line. The funeral, and it was a constant. Robin and David stood up by his casket and holding his brother. Oh, and Robin was engaged to get married. OMG, that right there is just so hard for me to grasp. This young girl is engaged. She was going to get married. It was either November or December. Her name is Chelsea. To him. They was planning the wedding. Sister Marguerite, in her guest bedroom we stayed in, showed me a lamp and something else, I forget what it was, that she had got them for their wedding gifts, because that lamp is what Chelsea wanted for her living room. OMG, and now he's gone and she can't even get married to him. That's just got to be, oh, I can't grasp that. Anyway, so sad for her. She's got to start over. She's got to get over this, and because she's so young, she's got to find somebody else to get married to have a family. Oh, okay. Off that. Okay. So we was there. The line was so long. I mean, we had to go in. We was going down the hall, and then they had the people. No, this was the, I'm sorry, I said church. This was the funeral home. I'm sorry, it was at the funeral home. I don't know why I got messed up and said church. It was at the funeral home. So we was lined up down the hall, and then people was going in this door into this big room that was, well, it's probably where they usually set chairs out or whatever, and they had a few couches, tables and chairs, but it was so big, and they had it all emptied out, and they were like, you were coming in the door, and then they had the people going. Let me see if I can get over here. You come in the door, and they had the people going, and you turn. The people turned this way. The people turned this way. The people turned this way. People turned this way, and then finally went out that other door on the other side of that room. It was 6 rows or lines of people like this in that room, in that one room, waiting to go from one door to the other across the room, to go out into the hall, to go in the other room, which is where the pews were, and yeah, they had pews, even though it was a funeral home, and the casket, where David and Robin was standing up there, where everybody could go by and see Hunter, and, hug David and Robin and hold and Chelsea and all that. Okay, so it was hot. They said it was hot in there. I was sweating, I was fanning, and I had to sit down at the chairs at the table a couple of times, and Gracie came with me. Then she'd go back and forth while Albert, Katie, and Elizabeth stayed in line going around. But, I'm talking too fast, trying to hurry. Getting out of breath here. Losing concentration. So hot. They said it was so hot in there like that because there was so many people in there. But it took us forever to finally get up to the casket to see poor Hunter and hug Robin and David and Holden and Chelsea, you know. And then we finally got there, and then we went out to the other side room, and we sat on the couch, and we stayed there. Well, of course, I had to go to the bathroom, and I came back, and Gracie played, blah. And we seen everybody from the church that we knew, and we hugged and talked to them, and that was nice. And the funeral was supposed to start at 7 o'clock. The wake, all that many people coming in. People would not stop coming in just to come by and see Hunter and speak to Robin and David and them. From 4, it went straight through. And at 7 o'clock, it didn't stop. They could not start the funeral at 7. They did not start the funeral until 9:30 p.m. that night. Oh, can you imagine? OMG. So finally, and we just stayed right there on that couch where we was at, because they started setting chairs up out there, and all the pews was full. People was standing up. You know, a lot of people left, yeah, but I mean, there was a lot of people there. Robin spoke. We couldn't believe that. Oh, there's no way, you know, I could do something like that. But she spoke, but she was doing the funny stuff about Robin. About Hunter. Plus, she was saying, you know, how she was so shocked about everybody being there, and that Hunter would have been, you know, so surprised about it, and so, you know, I guess thrilled or whatever. I don't know the word to use anyway. And so, but she was also saying, and people is telling me things that he has done for them, and I just, you know, when your kid grows up and he's not with you all the time, you don't know what he's out there doing. But then when you have people talk to you and tell you, oh, Hunter, give me money for this. Hunter stopped on the side of the road and helped me change a tire, or helped me work on a truck. All this kind of stuff. She was just amazed to hear all the stuff that he had done and helped people. And, you know, stuff like that. And amazed at all the people that came to see him. So anyway, and they sung a couple of songs. They didn't drag that part out long, since it had took forever just coming through seeing him. So then it was over, and it was late, and we left and went back to the house and ate. Well, then, like I said, Elizabeth, Katie, Gracie stayed there at Cecile's house. We got our stuff, me and Albert, and went to Brother Pete and Sister Marguerite's house, and we sat there at their table with them talking for a while. Finally, when we went to bed. So that was Wednesday. Then Thursday, we got up. Thursday is when Albert had to go. He left Thursday morning early, went back to Larry's to get his trailer, loaded it with wood, and then he came back. But by the time he came back, it was time to get ready and go to the funeral, the gravesite thing. So Elizabeth came over, because it was just like right across the road their house was. But she came over in the car and got me, because it's all big hills. There's no way I could have walked. And took me back to Cecile's house. Me and Gracie ate. And then, you know, I was already dressed. I'd gotten dressed for all that at Marguerite's house. And then it wasn't long. Albert came in with the trailer and the wood, and he parked that. He took a shower. We was all getting ready. And then we left and went to the graveyard. Had to go to the funeral first. And they put a flag on your car if you're in the funeral line. And it has a base that's magnetic, and it just sits on the car. And then the flag with the name of the funeral home, I guess, funeral on it, something like that. And we got in line, and they told us how, and we waited a little bit, and then we drove to the graveyard, and then we parked, and then they had the graveyard service thing for him, and that didn't take too long. And then we left there, and when we left there, we came back to, I'm trying to think, did we? Yeah, I think we came back to Cecile's house, and Thursday was when we left to head home. So, but we came there, we had gotten contact with Michaela and Caleb, of course. That's my Tennessee's baby's mom and dad. We had to see our boys, could not pass that up. So, we couldn't work things out. And then, so finally, at this last minute, we asked her, could you bring them over here, please, to Cecile's house to see us? We're getting ready, we're about to head back home soon. So, we was, you know, taking showers, getting ready, packing clothes, loading up, you know, and then, of course, Marguerite and them came over to tell us bye. We didn't get to see Robin and them again. Oh, I know where we went. We didn't go to Cecile's to eat after I'm getting it all wrong. See, I can't remember and think everything. After the gravesite thing, we went to the church. That's why I said church a while ago, I guess. The church has this big old room that they do eating in, and we ate there and, you know, talked with people. That's where we last seen David and Robin, so we hugged them by there. And then we went to Cecile's house to start getting ready, but we had called Michaela. She brought the boys over. So yes, I seen my babies, and they're not babies anymore. They're so big. Ike is as tall as me. Ian is almost as tall as me. Tookie's almost as tall as me. Tookie looks the same in his face. Like I said, he is taller. He is talking better, although he talks really low. It was hard for me to hear him because of that. At first, he was a little shy. And at first, I think he had a little hard time trying to remember who I was. But I think he finally did and come around and started interacting. I got him on video. I got 2 little clips. And I was going to put it at the end of this. That's going to now depend on how long this one is. But maybe and hopefully I can. If not, I will put them up by themselves, but together. One's 5 minutes and one's 2 minutes something long. The 2 clips of them be at the end of this. Now we're in Cecile's house. I'll describe that to you. We're in Cecile's house. And it's all of us, which is me, Albert, Elizabeth, Katie, Gracie. And then Brother Pete was there. Sister Marguerite was there. We didn't see Robin and them anymore. We told them by the church eating thing. Then Michaela came and brought her 3 boys. All of us was in the house. So you're going to see all of us because I got everybody on camera. Yes. So you'll see Brother Pete and Elizabeth sitting at the dining room table. Then you'll see Sister Marguerite on the couch. At one point, Michaela's sitting by her. Katie's sitting in a chair there talking to them. And then Albert is also sitting in a chair on the other side. And then the boys and Gracie's all playing around in the living room, and I'm videoing them. So you'll get to see that. Alright, but they came. I seen my boys. I hugged them. I talked to them. I held Tookie and rocked him. Oh, my baby, he's getting so big. He's not a baby no more. And I don't know when I'll see him again. Anyway, I told him, I said, y'all plan to come see us and stay with us again. So she said they would. So hopefully she will. They did before when we lived in Macomb, you know. So maybe they'll plan and come stay with us 2 or 3 days here soon, sometime. But anyway, Tookie is 5. No, he's 6. Or fixing to soon be 6. And he's in school, and he loves it. He loves his teacher. Her name is, I think, Stedman, Miss Stedman. He was trying to tell me her name, and it was hard to tell. His mama had to say it. But anyway, okay. So, also, Ike, he's like 10, fixing to be 11. Ian is 7. And, you know, they all go to school, and they like school, and OMG, they're just getting so big. Okay, so we visited with them, then they left, and then we loaded up and told Sister Marguerite and Brother Pete bye, and we left and headed home. That was Thursday evening late. The truck was hot. His hair don't work, and with his eyes, and when it got dark, it's worse, sir. He can't see, so his eyes hurts, his head hurts. But yet, for some reason, the trailer and truck was like swaying big time, and he was having a hard time holding it on the road. Plus, you know, the seeing part and the lights, you know, flashing, he made it worse. He couldn't see good. We tried to get him to let Elizabeth drive. He was afraid she wouldn't be able to handle it, so he wouldn't let her drive, so he drove, and they was behind us. It was nerve-wracking. He, you know, goes off the road. He almost hits things there all the time, texting or calling, tell him to slow down. He almost hit that truck, or he almost hit that tire, you know, blah, 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 blah. Very hectic, very hot because no air, OMG. But we made it to Alabama, Fort Payne, Alabama, finally. Oh, and it was raining at some points, too. And anyway, so we finally made it at Fort Payne, Alabama, got a room Thursday night, and then got up Friday morning. Me and Albert did first and left and come on. He had an eye appointment Friday that day at 1 something, I think it was, in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And the girls stayed behind and came later. So we finally made it. But again, it was very hot, very hectic. But he made it to the eye appointment, and then we went to Golden Corral. It used to be Ryan's there in Hattiesburg. and ate, and then we came on home. And when we got here and walked in, I didn't unpack or nothing, and I usually do that first. I went to bed. I couldn't handle nothing else. And I went to sleep. It was like 6 when we got here. I went to bed. I woke up about 9:30. Albert had laid on the couch and went to sleep. And then, of course, he goes on back to bed, but I got up, and I was up most of the night last night. Then I ate, and I watched videos, and unpacked my goodie bag. I didn't unpack my clothes bag till this morning, but I unpacked my goodie bag, and I watched the videos of the boys. OMG. Can't wait for y'all to see them. Okay, so we're home. I wanted to explain all that to y'all. I have not showed y'all this yet. Let me show it to you. It says a celebration of life. It's his picture. He's sitting in his truck. He loved his truck. He had a truck too, even though he had a motorcycle. Hunter Mason Isley. And there he is. See, it says a celebration of life. And there's Hunter. And then his name is Hunter Mason Isley. Now on the back it shows his truck. And it was the Carter Trent Scott County Funeral Homes. It says homes. They have more than one. And it's just this inside. It says, I will leave you comfortless. I will come to you. John 14:18. A memory of Hunter Mason Isley, born January the 12th, 1995, Kingsport, Tennessee. Died August the 24th, 2017, Kingsport, Tennessee. Service, 7 o'clock p.m. Wednesday. No, it didn't. It was 9:30. August the 30th, 2017, Carter Trent Funeral Home, Kingsport, Tennessee. Officiating, Pastor Greg Street. That was our pastor in Kingsport. Graveside service, 1 o'clock p.m. Thursday, August the 31st. 2017, East Lawn Memorial Park, Kingsport, Tennessee. Pallbearers, Holden Isley. His brother was one of his pallbearers, but he's the one wanted to be. So, Bob Bailey, Ben